start to add your lye water to the oil, you've started the process of saponification.
Okay.
Little pulsations.
So really, it's not just, it's just pulsing, but the stirring is, okay.
It's working it too. The
All right.
old-fashioned way is the stirring. The pulsing is getting those molecules to get together and do their thing a little quicker. You're going to start to see the oil get a little cloudy, milky-like. And you're going to see strains of cloudiness and strains of oil. And everything's going well. Once you finish off your lye, you pulsate for a little bit longer each time. And eventually, when you don't see the strains anymore, the two separates, you continually keep going.
Okay.
Slow it down, go the opposite direction. Just keep it moving all the time. I like to slow it down just because that switching, you splash everywhere. I actually did that last time. It's pretty embarrassing. First time ever. So what's happening now is you're saponifying. So you're going to get it up to, you guys have all done egg whites and maybe putting it on the stove top and stuff. You're going to look for soft peaks. So you'll start to see it forming on your beater, on the sides. Sometimes it goes really quick, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know why. It's the same recipe every time. What's going to change the processing of your soap, and toward the tail end of it when you do your fragrance oil, some of them come up really quickly to trace, others take a really long time. Sometimes they change the consistency of the batter. Sometimes they'll rice, so you'll have like really small pieces. Just keep working it. After you've added your fragrance oils, whatever you're going to use, try not to pulsate it as much because it will dissipate some of the fragrance. Do the stirring. You're better off. After you add your fragrance oil, try not to use the blender itself for longer than 2 minutes. It's just a good general rule of thumb. If you're still seeing that there's that fragrance oil skim on the top that's separate from the rest, just use mixing. You want to get it back up to the soft peaks. So you bring it to soft peaks with just the lye and the water and the oil. Soft peaks, and then you add your fragrance oil slowly. Same principle as when you add.
And how much do you put in of the fragrance oil?
The general rule of thumb is an ounce of fragrance oil to a pound of soap.
Okay.
My box here makes 5.5.
Yep.
I was finding it was way too strong. It was just too much.
Do you have fragrance in those?
Yep, those are the white tea. We made those last night.
Can I smell that?
Absolutely. Yep. So I'm down to 4 ounces to 5.5. Well, it's actually 6 to 6.5 pounds of soap. 4 ounces. So with that recipe, I'd say 4 ounces is generally.
The white tea. It's like a block of cheese.
It does. It's
I was just going to say, yum.
There were ladies that came over and said, "What are you doing?" They're like, "I said he's making butter." They go, "Oh, I thought it was cheese." It's because you use like the cheese butter, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's good.
So, can I just see what these are? Just wooden?
Yeah, absolutely.
You made
Yep.
these, it looks
Freezer
like.
paper.
It's a soap box. Yep.
Yeah, okay, but I could make Bruce.
You could easily
Yep.
make
Oh, Brees could
Okay.
make that. Yeah.
Yep, okay.
Pretty much personal preference. Size
She's got a
wise.
handyman at home.
Oh, that's always perfect.
Okay.
You just line it with your wax paper.
Yeah.
Some people use mineral oil and just oil it up really good. I didn't do that. I don't do the mineral oil. I just like the paper better because I can literally
Pops for that.
fold these up, fold it up,
And pull it out.
flip it over.
Yeah, and then it's all
comes
wrapped.
right out.
Right,
And
okay.
I can let it sit on my shelf and age. Now, there's water in there, so of course water dehydrates. You really shouldn't use it for at least a week until the pH comes down and it settles and everything. But it can take like 6 to 8 weeks if it's really humid for it to actually cure and be ready to use, so it lasts longer, harder bar. So the longer it sits around and gets rid of that moisture, the harder the bar is going to be. And you'll notice the lather is a lot different too. The first batch of vegan soap that I made, I was so excited I cut it. So 24 hours later I cut it and I go to the shower.
All falls apart. Oh.
I was like, the lye was killing me. So I had to sprint through the house with the spray bottle of it. Yeah, I won't do that again.
So it's like wine, let it sit and cure. Okay.
Let it age. Let it age, definitely.
Okay. Very nice.
That's the home soap maker's pledge. You have a nice gadget this. You can probably take a picture of it.
Yeah, take a picture of the homemaker's pledge. I acknowledge.